call the meeting to order. The first order of business before we get into the work session is the Town of Woodbridge, the 824 referral regarding locating a skating ring on the town-owned property at 160 Pease Road. Is somebody here to talk about it?
John, if you could just sign in on that, please.
Hey, Chris. How you doing? Good.
I'm John Adamovich, Director of Recreation for the Town of Woodbridge. Dwight Rowland is the Chair.
I'm on the Recreation
Commission. Right, this. And we'd like to present here, we presented to the Board of Selectmen, and I have an update for you. So you know exactly what we're talking about. The sheet that you have didn't have as much information.
Thank you. And one.
John, can I have one? No. Thank you so much.
This is twofold. This is a skating rink. We have a skating rink. We had a skating rink at the Fitzgerald property. It's now going to be the area for the dog park area. So we're looking to relocate. This will be a perfect spot for it. What I gave you was a sheet with yellow and pink. The yellow is the existing parking spot. That's the existing parking spot for cars, and that is 140 feet long. And the distance, the 220, is the area we have to work with, lengthwise. So it fits right in. And then the pink area is where we're going to put the skating rink. It's going to be identical to the parking lot and oversee that, so we can put about 50 cars to get the cars off of Pease Road and off of Shady Lane during the height of the soccer season. This skating rink will be used from late October to beginning of March, and then become a parking lot for the programs that are there, that are held over. And there's a lot of soccer and a lot of lacrosse programs that are being held there. So if you look at it, in the pink area, we would come in 10 feet, right underneath the 140, 220, we'd have a 10-foot buffer, come in 10 feet, and then we would go 175. 75 feet. We'd go 75 feet. And it's 30 feet in from the driveway. If you look at the driveway where the 120, 75 is, that's 30 feet in. You cannot see it from the road. You wouldn't be able to see it. There's no trees. There's nothing there. It's just dirt that was piled up there that was just brought in by the town when they were building there, and they just stacked all their dirt on the side. There's nothing there. The orange is in the lower parking lot, and that's the entranceway. You would enter from the lower parking lot up into the pink area. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking to put it in that spot.
Would the area of the rink be just what is within the pink, or the pink and the yellow?
No, just the pink. It would just be the pink. I highlighted the yellow to show you that it's right underneath it and it's the same size. So the number of parking spaces that are in the yellow area would be the same number of parking spaces, 30 to 40 cars easily overflow there. And that would take all those cars off of the road that we have the problem with. And that's basically what we're looking for. And that's where I guess the original dog park was looking to put. It's nothing there, there's nothing on it, it's just flat land. And the town piled up all their dirt from the fields and everything there and put it there. And we'd like to use that area. And it would be a twofold, a win-win, I think, for the town.
All right, so right now, we lost the Fitzgerald property. We don't have an area now for a skating rink. And it is heavily used by the residents during the wintertime.
And it's maintained by the Recreation Department and the Fire Department. My brothers at the Fire Department, they fill it for me all the time. They come in, do it, and we take care of it.
So it's open air, right? It's not.
It's open air.
It's all open air.
Open air.
And it's okay to laugh at this question. October to March. How do you get the ice to, like, you put water on it and then it freezes in October, or do you think something?
When it gets really cold, when we start getting cold weather, late October, we start getting cold weather, we'll fill with ice. The reason why we're using cement, putting cement in instead of asphalt, the asphalt one was at what do you call it property? Fitzgerald property. It cracked. like this. It costs us $3,000 to fix it. We fix it. It only lasted 2 years. It's tough. It doesn't hold, and it's black, and it absorbs sunlight instead of reflecting it. So this would be cement. This would be solid. This would have rebar in it. This would be fit.
And you could park cars on it without really any issues.
Yeah.
Any issue about runoff?
No, it's just plain water. It's just plain water that would run off into the lower parking lot, where the lower parking lot is, into that area right there.
You're going to have curbs around. You're going to have like a 6-inch curb or whatever around this, right here, so that we can retain the water. And where the orange is, that's going to be the entrance into that area, so they can dump, they can maintain, and everything else during the year.
Would this be up and operational next year or this year?
Next year.
Next year.
Not this year. It's got to go out to bid. Okay, the Board of Selectmen has already approved this location. That's why it's a referral.
We should do it right, just like we did the library. I think they did a great job in building the library and building it for the future, so there was more space, and down the road you don't have to look for it. This would be perfect, and it's in a perfect spot, because the playground is still being used. The soccer fields are all closed, but the playground's still open.
John, on the money-wise, you put 28 to 38,000. Has that been approved yet?
No.
The money?
No, we have 20,000.
Okay.
We have 20,000 in our budget. That's been approved
Yeah.
for it, and then we'll work with the town, because now we're going to build a dual part
Okay.
system.
It's got to go out to bid.
Yeah.
We've got to
Yeah,
get,
I got
Find
it.
out exactly what the cost is. I was just a guesstimate on my part.
Right.
Okay.
Is that grassy area really flat? So even with the parking lot, I haven't been there in a while, but I seem to recall that there was a grade difference on that.
Well, that's what, when we put it in, it would be, I don't think there's that much of a grade difference, maybe 6 inches. And they could do that out and put it in and drop it down. And if the cement is even with the grass, you wouldn't see it at all, but you have the 6-inch curb, and they'll level it out.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.
We'll take that up at a work session. We have 2 other matters that came in late, but very quick. One is a request for a 90-day extension to file the Mylar for from Chris Dickinson for the 1690 Litchfield Turnpike subdivision. Does anybody have any objections to granting him an extension? You need a formal motion on that?
You can do it by consensus. As long
Okay,
as we-
consensus?
Fine.
The next is a request from Peter Olson for the final bond release for joint bond for residential site development of 19 Diana Drive. The site was inspected by Criscolo Engineering relative to the bond request, and his memo, which I think you have, recommends the release and is attached to the bond release request.
This is a joint bond between you and the Inland Wetlands Agency, and so that's why Criscolo had already been engaged, because they received it before you did. So both Terry and Jim Prito from Criscolo went out and found that it was fine. So they recommend a full release, return of the rest of the bond, which is $7,500.
You have the letter from Criscolo Engineering, where he says, recommended that the remaining bond held be released. Any objections?
Does that need a vote in the work session?
It should have a formal vote, because
Okay.
it's something that we send up to the finance board, and so then there's a
Then we'll
record
wait
of a
until
vote.
the work
being-
session and do it
Okay.
then. Okay. On the work session, let me just take the first two things real easy. First, easy. The 824 referral on 160 from the town of Woodbridge on 160 Pease Road for the skating ring. Any discussion on that?
Don't see any problem.
I think it's fine.
And we should just note that with Jeff absent and Paul not here, that Yanni and Jeff Kennedy are voting
Okay.
in lieu of them.
Is the general consensus to approve it?
Yes.
Yes.
A motion approval if needed.
All in favor?
Is that needed?
Do we need a motion?
It should be a motion.
Okay.
A motion?
Here a second?
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Fine. The next, we've already done the extension on Chris Dickerson on the release of the bond.
I move we release the bond.
We're here a second.
Second.
Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That's that. Okay. The next is the update of the zoning regulations. I've asked council to come to the meeting and talk. I don't know if everybody has seen the opinion that was dated November 9th from the Carmody and Torrance firm regarding the ability or the ability to take questions or hear further discussion from the public on this. If you could explain it to the commission and to the people here.
Do you want me to come up here?
Sure.
What was the date on that?
November 9th.
I'm Janie McDermott with Carmody, Torrance, Sandak, and Hennessy. With regard to public hearings, under the enabling statute, on every application there must be a public hearing, but once the public hearing is closed, it cannot be reopened. And this matter has been brought before the Connecticut Supreme Court, and the Connecticut Supreme Court has said, because the reopening of a public hearing is not permitted under the enabling statute, any action that a commission takes once the public hearing has been closed could invalidate its future decision. So it was our opinion that because the public hearing had been officially closed on the record at the last meeting, additional public comments and questions could not be taken.
And so therefore you obviously agree with the opinion of November 9th.
I do.
Okay. For anybody, by the way, who wants a copy of the opinion, we have copies of it here. In view of that, thank you. Anybody have any questions on this, by the way, to the council?
No question.
Okay.
I would just comment that at the meeting, we entertained questions and comments, and the chairman asked if there were any other people that wanted to speak, and no one stepped up, and that's when he closed the hearing. And we have the opinion of council that we are unable, under the law, to listen to any more questions or comments.
What I know there's been discussion, and what I've proposed is that we go through the regulations again starting at our next meeting and do a comparison between do a section by section comparison between the existing regulations and the proposed regulations and see exactly what changes. Because I know originally it was supposed to have been done and it wasn't. There was supposed to have been a comparison between the old and the new. And it wasn't done, and so it's going to be left up to us to do it. So what I propose is that at the next meeting, we'd be prepared to discuss Section 1 and Section 2 of the new regulations, the comparison of the proposed regulations, the comparison to the old existing regulations, and go through them in effect line by line if necessary, so that we all understand exactly what is being changed, if any, if there's any substantive changes in those sections. Is that agreeable to everybody?
It is. Would that also, Alan, be for the purpose of consideration and action upon comments that we heard
Absolutely.
during the public hearing
Absolutely.
sessions.
Absolutely.
So
In ter-
for the purpose of offering amendments based on those comments.
Exactly. Not only comparison, but absolutely taking into consideration the comments that we had received to make additional changes if necessary.
And that would not only be for the January meeting, but for the February meeting as well.
Right. Okay,
Good, I agree with that.
everybody agree? Fine.
Does everybody want an electronic version of the existing regs so that you have them, or would it be helpful for you to have a hard copy of both so that you can know?
I know my own personal opinion is a hard copy,
That's fine.
because when you're comparing two different documents, trying to do it on a computer, unless you have to have two screens, becomes very difficult.
And going along with that, I know we like to save trees, but I know it's more difficult when you're flipping one side to the other when you're doing that. Do you want it single-sided?
No, double-sided.
Double-sided? Okay.
Save trees, please.
Okay.
We already have existing regs in hard copy.
Yes, everybody should have existing regs in hard copy already,
And if we don't, let me know and I'll make sure you get them.
okay?
Right, so it's only
The new ones.
But then, are the new ones the same as the ones that we were given, the one that has the blue cover? Because if that's it, then we already have
We
it.
already have them. The date printed 10/16.
That should be
Right.
that's the last one that you had at the
Okay.
last.
So there were no changes made to the blue covered one?
Nope.
Based on any of the meetings? So we have the
was
blue
the-
one,
no,
and then we
the-
have the
September
red.
20 meeting?
It was printed the 16th, which is after the meeting on the 15th.
Okay.
This version had already incorporated the changes that were made based on previous meetings.
Yeah, good, okay.
The further consideration to additional changes is
Okay.
what's left.
Understood, okay, yeah. Then we may have those.
So-
Yes,
We
everybody.
have them, yeah, we have
So I'll
them.
leave it
yeah.
to you to let me know if you need
Exactly.
something.
Yeah,
Because
we have.
I know I have both copies, the blue
Yeah, I
one and
have.
the existing regs. If anybody doesn't, let
Yeah.
Chris know.
Yeah, okay.
And if for some reason you want another electronic version of either, just email
Sure.
me and I'll send it out.
If that's the case, report on Sprague.
So the last meeting of the Regional Planning Commission, there were no items that impacted the interests of the town of Woodbridge, but among them were an application or proposal from the city of West Haven for a zoning map change on Forest Road, proposal from the town of Orange, proposed zoning regulation to provide special standards for farm wineries. City of Milford proposal for amendments regarding the regulation of electronic digital billboards. Those are all alongside I-95 within the city of Milford. I think there are several of them already. And the city of West Haven to allow gas and fuel stations by special permit in the waterfront design district, which is where the proposed mall is being constructed. Apparently, present zoning doesn't allow for gas stations in that area. So those were the only items on
Okay.
November 8th.
The next thing is, Chris, I don't see the proposed dates. Did you?
Oh, I thought I emailed them out.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
Did-
you emailed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And please look at July, so if you don't want it that week, I don't
What
have
was
to
it, July
choose.
1st, I think it was?
I think so. I don't think it's anywhere near July 4th, but
No.
I hate getting to June and then all of a sudden switching everything around.
So just a reminder that the January date is a Tuesday because, why can't it be Monday?
Because we're closed on Monday?
It's a holiday.
The 6th is a holiday.
No, maybe not. Hang on a
I mean,
second.
I'm just surprised that it's that far out from,
No, it should be, oh, you know
the
what, I may
first
have
is
left the date listed
Tuesday.
as a Tuesday, but it's probably a Monday.
Ma-
Does anybody, I don't
I
know.
have a calendar, hang on. So January, the 7th is a Monday. So that is the day, I think you have January 7th, but you listed as a Tuesday.
Yeah, because I probably cut and pasted from the one
Okay,
that.
so now there's another, I'm looking at a calendar instead of the dates that you proposed. There was another scheduled meeting, and it wasn't Labor Day, that was also a Tuesday, but I'm wondering why it was gonna be a Tuesday.
January,
So January 7th should be a Monday, is a Monday.
Right,
Is it a Monday?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
looking at the calendar,
and then September, it should be the 3rd.
right? That's a Tuesday. I thought there was another Monday in there somewhere, or am I
You
mean,
mean another-
another Tuesday.
May 7th.
Oh, and that's because of the election.
That's because of the election, okay, just wanted to check on those, all right.
Do I hear a motion to accept the proposed meeting dates with the correction?
What was the July date? Sorry, I have the calendar open and not that
Sure,
email.
July 1st, Monday.
Oh, wow, sure, that's
I
fine.
move that we approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Unanimously. Approval of minutes, some of them.
My heavens.
Since it go-
It's like writing War and Peace after a while.
You have the June 4th meeting first.
I think I read these last time.
Hmm?
I thought I read these last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
They
you
were
have-
from last time. Yes. Oh. I don't think, yeah. Do I hear a motion on the June 4th minutes?
I think Kathleen or Andy has to
You
make
and I
it because they were.
I was
I didn't write anything on these when I reviewed them. So I move we propose the June 4th minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Can we do it if only,
Abstentions count as yeses.
Yeses, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Because neither one of us were here for that one.
Was it playing golf or something?
I don't remember.
One more.
Here's the next one. The next
July 6th.
last 16? I move to approve these. And we'll go
Second.
through these.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All anybody opposed? Okay. September 4th. Yeah, that's okay. Do I hear a motion on the September 4th minutes?
I'll move that we approve the September 4th meeting.
Okay, all in favor?
Who seconded?
I'll
Oh.
second it.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I abstain.
Abstained?
I wasn't there.
That's right, okay. September 20th.
That was us.
Wait a minute, it says the special meeting on the 20th, but on the first paragraph it says Thursday, September 15th.
Yeah,
Well, it should be the 20th.
yeah, and there are a couple of other corrections I have in that,
Okay.
in this one, which I will give you.
Okay. So we'll type up.
Just typos and
Okay.
stuff like that. Do I hear a motion to accept it with corrections?
I'll motion that.
Hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
I'll give you that one. The next is October 1st.
It's like,
Were you here?
yes.
Yeah, you were here for that.
I was here, I'll move to.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Somebody, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
I abstain.
Yep. You were absent.
She wasn't absent, she was excused.
Well,
I was
absent
excused. There we go.
If I know
It says here absent, though.
It says-
But I was
yeah.
excused.
Yeah, then I should
I always let
correct
you
it.
know.
Make that correct, then you have to make that correction.
I will make that correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That was October 1st.
Okay.
Then October 15th.
I read these, suggested 2 changes, Chris made them, so I would motion.
Okay.
Good job.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. And
And
then,
I'm still working on your fifths.
oh,
I
this
got
is the
halfway
October
through them and I
15th?
lost them.
Is this the October 15th meeting? Yeah, okay. I don't have a chance to really even review that. Okay. And did we get the November, oh yeah, it's the November 5th?
No,
No.
I started to work
Yeah.
on them, I got halfway
Okay.
through them, and
Fine.
they got lost, so I have to reconstitute them,
Okay.
which is good.
In which case, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.